the GIZ program, Energizing Development. This is a partnership between the Dutch government and the German government to help the poor access energy in a sustainable way. And I will briefly take you through GIZ, what they are doing, and then focus on Kenya. This is where I have my facts, and tell you what we have done, what we have achieved, what problems we have. And I must say, when I was getting an invitation for this workshop, I really asked myself, what have we done in gender? And and sometimes I'm even confused. Is gender women only? Women, men, and children? I wasn't very sure. But no, going through what we have done, I realized actually we have been taking care of quite a number of things, only that we didn't put on the gender lens. And I think after this meeting, this will be my top priority. Okay, Energizing Development, as I said, is this Dutch-German partnership. GIZ is involved in 18 countries in the world, implementing energy projects in different countries, in different sectors, in solar, hydro, biogas, cooking energy, and grid extension. And 11 of these countries, they're in Africa. Now, when I say GTZ or GIZ, don't worry, it's the same organization. We just changed the name because there's a merger of 3 German organizations, but it's the same organization. And Kenya is one of the countries where energizing development is being implemented. Now, what is the objective of the program? The objective is to provide household, businesses, and social institutions access to modern, clean energy by provision of improved cookstoves in a sustainable manner. And we are currently operating in 12 districts out of 72 districts in 3 focal areas. I will show you a map. I wanted to put this 72 district there because at the moment, some of these 12 districts, one of them is already divided into 4 districts. We have a lot of reorganization going on in the country, but we still want to keep our focus in the initial areas where we started the work. And the program is in its second phase, which is running up to 2012. We started in 2005, as you can see, and we have a budget of 5.95 million euros. The project activities focus on building capacity to develop sustainable market for improved cookstoves. So it's really business. You get into stove work in Kenya, you do it as a business. We don't have free gifts because we have also learned very hard from a past program where the program was heavily donor supported in the 90s. And when this program closed down, I can tell you most of the stove businesses closed shop. And we don't want to repeat that again. So our focus now is you get into stove work, you do it for business. You do it because you want to make money. We are there as a project with a lot of money, but to give you the capacity to teach, to train, and train, and train again. We partner with our main partners in this work is private sector, who are actually the people who are bringing the service to the people. We partner with the government of Kenya network, mainly the Ministry of Agriculture, who are taking up the role of supervision and coordination. We also partner with agro-industries, CBOs, and NGOs who have access to the community, to the farmers, so that we can reach these people easily. You can imagine a program where you're sitting in Nairobi and you're addressing women who are somewhere in the rural areas. We cannot be able to reach everybody unless we have this kind of network. And we also partner a lot with other donor-funded projects to mainstream stove activities in their work. I think Tineke said very well in the morning, we cannot talk of gender and energy without including other people, other subjects into this work. So people who are doing, programs where they are doing health, programs where they are doing natural resource management, this could be very key players in this sector. That's a map of Kenya. I saw something here. What is it? Did you drop it along?
It's hers.
The pointer? Also. Okay. You can, we are in, where is it now? Huh? Yeah, the top one. It was here and that's how I got to it.
The battery.
The battery. Okay, I'll tell you. I use my hands now. We are in this part of the country, Western Kenya. We are here and we are here. So you can see we still have a very big part of this country to cover. I will give you very big figures, but it's a very small percent of the people we have to save. We have two types of stoves we are promoting. The first one is called Jiko Kisasa. This is a ceramic product. You know something? No? Okay. This is a ceramic product. You can't hear okay. This is a ceramic product which is centrally produced. It can be converted to that stove as a portable stove, or it can be fixed in the kitchen this way as a single stove or a double stove. Now we have men and women doing the production, men and women doing the metal cladding, men and women marketing this stove from the production centers to the users, and men and women who are installing this stove, and they are all doing it for money. Every producer who has done this, they have been paid. Marketed that, they have been paid. Installing this stove, they have been paid. We have, a rocket stove. That one is a brick rocket stove. Depending on the size and the material you use, the size, the cost varies significantly, because you can use it as a household stove or an institutional stove. It can be built up to take up a pot of up to 600 liters for schools. It's being done. Or you can use it like this lady, using clay as construction material. Also, depending whether you want one door or two doors, the cost varies accordingly. Now, why are we addressing gender equality in stove work? Traditionally, I think somebody says we are going to repeat what you know already. In terms of health, exposure to indoor air pollution, in terms of poverty, women spend a lot of their time collecting and using firewood, which actually takes up a lot of their time instead of engaging in other useful activities. Children don't go to school. And in terms of security, a lot of women, when they go to distance places in collection, there are a lot of crimes to these women and children. Another issue is in terms of this traditional labor division. We have to understand that women and men, they have different responsibilities and impacts on the stove work. In terms of job creation, very often women are not included actually in the technical trainings for this work. And again, it is important to recognize that they are both very key for successful dissemination of these stoves. Women build up good rapport with the other women, but it's men who have the money and they make decision to invest into the stove. You see, for a lot of us who are sitting in this room, if I want to buy my gas cooker today, I go to the shop when I have the money to do it. Yeah? But how many of these rural women who will want a stove worth $2 and they can just decide I want the stove and you put in $2? There are very few of them. The women we represent in this forum, very few of them have $2, access to $2 to go and buy a stove. These are the women we are talking about here. Now, in Kenya, we have focused on job creation for women and men rather than common gender mainstreaming, because we believe everybody has a really specific role to play. And in the program, we have 2 program indicators. One is to have 35% income increase for women and to offer employment opportunities for them. So it is very important to recognize the different contributions and roles for both men and women in this work if we really want to be successful. What have we done? How have we done it in Kenya? We have recognized the role of women in promotion, in adoption, and in the use of the stores. And we are also offering opportunity and encourage contribution. You see, you can know that they have this or this strength, but you see, you don't offer opportunity for them to participate. It will not have any use, it will not have any impact on women, and even encourage contribution. Because very many women, because of the way we have been brought up, the opportunities which have been offered to us, it does not encourage us to come out and stand up and talk like the way our fellow men will do. So at the micro level, women are included at all levels of the value chain to increase the likelihood of adoption and long-term use of the stove. Whether it is training, whether it's in training in production, in marketing, in use of the stove, women are all considered, it's part and parcel of this work. And then also in terms of new groups, we encourage participation of men and women when we are forming a group. And we are also looking at the age bracket. It's very important that we also include, we are including the young people for future, because we have had some incidences where we started the groups, but you know, when people get very old, the work becomes too heavy, they pull out. Unless you have other people to take up their position, then the work almost stops. We have very good examples on for such groups. And then at meso level, we have women who are targeted and they're involved in store work either as entrepreneurs or as trainers along the value chain. Now here I'm talking about the services being offered in this sector. In which areas are we involving the women in this project? We have realized that women-to-women communication about the advantage of stores, they have high credibility and they create more market. And this is simply because it's women who use those stores. So when they talk to their fellow women, they listen because they trust them. But men also, they have a very critical role there. They can go to far away distances, to increase the market radius for these stores. And this means also when we are recruiting the people to do this to talk about the store, it's important. We are pointing out these women with good reputation and people who are acceptable in the community to help us spearhead the promotion activities at the local level. In terms of training, women, this is really normal. Women relate more easily and listen and trust their fellow women when they tell them things. So we try as much as possible to use women as trainers in different forums. And we have also, what we are doing is to make sure the training is done at the village level so that women can come to the training and be able to go back to do their other work. Because initially when we started, we had when you are doing this entrepreneurship skills training or the training, you take a training session somewhere in a hotel, but very few women will participate. And then talking to women, we learned that, okay, sorry, I cannot come, my husband will go, my children will sleep without me, I don't want that. So we had to bring this service down to the people. So all the trainings we do as a project, they are done at the village level. Women come and they go back home. Even if we are going to have it for 8 days, that's the way it's going to happen. In terms of consumer education, women as stove users, it's very easy for them to teach other women. And what we do is we don't bring people from far away distance. We just use women in the same village to teach other women. So, because they know each other and it's very easy for them to trust each other. But then, this is an opportunity which is offered to both men and women. in the community. In terms of monitoring and evaluation, women are playing a very key role in giving us feedback. What kind of improvement they need on the stove? For example, when we started one of the rocket stove, we had a stove with a chimney. From a health point of view, it's something very good. But you see what? As Africans, we don't have chimneys in our homes. And we don't know how to clean chimneys. So these chimneys, we are not cleaned. Although as a project, you drum up a lot of talk. You have to clean the chimney. They are not cleaned. They will block. And eventually the smoke comes back to the house. So this women say, you bring us a stove which is very smoky. You see, because of that feedback, we had to change the whole, the design of the stove. And now, they have their stove. They are using a stove. So the only thing we did, we built a stove without the chimney, but then we teach them, you have to cut your firewood small and dry it. This is something they normally do, but insist on it. And as long as you use dry firewood, the smoke is significantly reduced. And then, in terms of capacity building, so for further sustainability, training is done for both women and men. In stove production, in marketing, installation, and also in stove use. They are all included. What are the results which we have achieved so far? We have stove uptake on the rise. You can see January, June, we have the two different types of stoves there. And what does this figure tell us? I say that every one stove which has been sold, it go out at a cost. Any producer of this 1.3 million by that time, 1.3 million stoves we have done now since 2006, every stove was sold at a cost. Somebody made money out of it. You can give this person about $1 as a profit for every stove which came from production center. Everybody who installed this stove got another $1. Every woman who is using this stove in the village somewhere, because one stove is one household. Can you imagine the amount of time which is saved by this 1.3 million? The time saved by these women, the amount of smoke which has been reduced by these stoves, and the consequent health implications on this 1.3 million. There are so many women benefiting from this. Not only from the business point of view, but as a consumer, as a user of that stove. We have employment of men and women in this work. You can see we have producers, Jiko Kisasa producers. We have the people who are installing. The installers are the same people who are also marketing. And we have people who are doing the rocket stove construction, the builders there. So you can see women and men, the ratio is really more or less the same, because as a project, we also try to ensure when we recruit these groups, one rule, 50% have to be women. So you can see there's quite a good opportunity for both genders. In terms of income, we have just completed one study. We did an impact assessment in 2007, and we really, this aspect didn't come out very clear. So we have done one study this year, just about 2 months ago, and you can see the percentage of women in terms of the people who are dealing with stocks. From this graph, this is the amount of money they make in both genders. You can see it's more or less, they have more or less equal opportunities to make money. And that is there you can say 100 Kenyan shillings, €1 now. So you can see there is quite a good opportunity for them for income generation, for those who are involved in the store businesses. And what is the overall impact of this work in terms of empowering women? You can see when there's availability and women have access to income, You empower women in terms of business orientation and decision making. We have seen that happening in the project. I wish I could bring some 2 or 3 of these women to talk here and really hear very moving stories. Participation in community meetings, giving opinion and contributing to the well-being of the society. This is something which is happening in a lot of places where we are working. You know, some women, they will tell you, I have never stood in front of men and talked. It's my first time. But you know, it's because of this empowerment we are giving them through the stove work. They have good ideas, but you see the way we are brought up, she cannot stand up and talk in front of people. But through the project exposure, training, they realize that they have so many things they can contribute to the society. And this goes back into improving the quality of life, nutritionally, health, education, and just the well-being of the society. So you can see somewhere there's something which is, if you invest in one woman, you are invested in what? Yeah, you have invested in the whole village. Thank you. So these are some of the women you can see. I think Lydia Mushiri, she will know some of these ladies here because ITDD has worked also with some of these groups before we came in 2006. This is a woman producer. She has a mold just to make the work of molding the stove much easier. That is a lady. She's installing a stove. I think a lot of people know this lady here, Agnes. She was just visiting this group. She started this group in the 80s. Keyo Women's Group in Kenya. It's a very famous group. And they have kept in stove work. This is one of the oldest group in Kenya doing production of this stoves. For the last 20 years plus, they are still doing this work. They do it as a business. They have evolved from a women group. Now they call themselves an enterprise. They have a business manager, they have a marketing officer, and God knows what. And nowadays what they do is, actually they don't do the work anymore themselves. They are employing young boys and girls to collect the soil, to mold, to do all the work. And they're only selling the stoves now. Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, quickly. This is a group which has been doing the stove work for quite some time. Yeah? And
it was a nice idea.
Another one. These are the different group stoves which we have, women are using there. I tell you, one of the things which we have done, which is very unique in Kenya, is to get Maasai women to participate in stove construction. It is amazing. I could not believe. We have a group which is moving around in their area doing this work. It is, I did not even expect it myself, but it's happening. Now, what are the challenges we have? Okay, household sector in Kenya is largely unregulated. Somebody said already, women have no banks which have special consideration for women to access the funds. They have no collaterals, so they don't even try to go to the bank to get the money. In terms of culture, you know, it's women business. They can't collect the firewood. They have the time, so don't be bothered. You know, this attitude. And also, they have very limited opportunities. They are not well educated, and they are tied down by a lot of family obligations. And then, among us, the practitioners also, there isn't much experience and know-how in stove dissemination. If there is no coordination. There's no sharing. So it's very good for us to sit here and do what we are doing now. In terms of carbon financing, when we are trying to develop a sustainable stove market, we have this famous carbon fund where they come to the country, give stove for free. Do we want to have short-term, you know, you either give a fried fish or you teach me how to fish. We will talk about it. So it's really something which we need to consider. It's a very good funding opportunity, but what is important is how is this money being used to keep our work going? 2-3 important things. Income generation opportunity remain a major motivation for continuation with multiple positive impacts on women. So if we want to help them teach them how to fish. Don't give them a fried fish. And then I say, and I repeat again, recognizing the role of women, offering opportunity and encourage their participation. It's not only enough to talk about here, it's very important to go there and open the doors for these women. We have to look behind them. Where did they come from to where they have reached? If we want to carry what they have been doing from time immemorial, we will never get where we want to go. And of course, Tineke said, involvement of more stakeholders for broad mainstreaming of STOV activities carries a greater chance of sustainability, especially in terms of women empowering. Can we involve the energy ministries into this work, energy and gender? Can we involve health ministry? We're talking about indoor pollution. Why are they here? We are talking about environment. We are talking about climate change, gender issues. We are talking about agriculture. Why are these people not here? So, doing this together, I think we will have a greater impact together. Thank you very much.
Wow.